Welcome back to the Fast Break. Friends, it is Friday, January 16th, and we got a good pod for you guys today. We are going to go over our All-Star picks. Crazy. We're about halfway through the season now, and the All-Star game's just around the corner. Feels like the season just started a couple of days ago, or a couple weeks ago. And then we're going to go into a little bit of Kuminga talk because he formally requested for a trade. And then a little bit about AD, seeing if he is on the move. Things have been kind of getting ramped up on that front. And then if we have time, a little Spurs OKC and maybe a little Ja talk. This one's on Ja today. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, joined by the terrific Todd Aykroyd. Todd, how are you doing today? I like your vibe. Uh-oh. Can't hear him. Already off to a
Illegal
hot start.
screen.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Illegal screen.
Todd, what is that jersey you're wearing?
Drew Bledsoe. Go Cougs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say illegal screen.
Yeah, well, I'm just so excited about the Patriots. You just got me you took me completely out of the joke.
I have a tendency to do that.
15-3, man. I just can't believe it. Fucking go Pats. I know this is an NBA podcast, but god damn it. Incredible.
Looking like a couple guys from Southie just doing a podcast. I got my Celtics gear on, 18-time champs, suck it Lakers, and then you got your Bledsoe Pats, Jazzy. I was talking with Sterling the other day, or yesterday, getting a couple ales, and we were talking a little bit about the Pats and buying. You could rent the place next to Brady's old house or something for like $9,000 a month, and I was like, that'd be pretty cool. Like, Monday morning, like, hey Tommy, hell of a game last night. But yeah, very excited for this weekend, and also really nervous. Sam Darnold now oblique injury, questionable. I mean, I think he's going to play, but we'll see. I'm really nervous about that one. It's kind of laying the groundwork for a bad game. You know what I mean?
No, you guys got it. I think your defense is just gonna eat them up, and even if it's 13-3 again, no, I think the Hawks are gonna win the Super Bowl. So,
whoa, easy. But I like it. I like that attitude.
Hey, maybe it'll be like Super Bowl 49. Who knows?
Todd, the pod's over if it ends like Super Bowl 49 because I'm not going to be around. And neither will you. No, but I'm getting a little worried for you. The Hawks, Pats. I'm getting a little worried for both of us. Because
living in Seattle right now as a Patriots fan, you could tell people are like, oh, the Patriots are back and this is our best season since they fucking took us out.
It's the boogeyman. He's back.
Right. But like you told me, I just got to embrace it and go full masshole around the city. Just like, look, that's right. I'm rocking the Boston gear and you can suck it. So I'm sorry.
I know Todd was saying, I don't want it to be, New England versus Seattle. I like Seattle kind of as like a second team. I would feel bad. All my friends would, be sad, and I wouldn't want to do that to them. And I go, no, you can't be the guy that's like, oh, I'm sorry about winning the Super Bowl, blah, blah. You have to just go full heel, masshole, like, because nobody wants to be the guy that's like, oh, thanks for feeling bad for me. You got to just go, suck it, kiss the rings. We're better than you. And we've done it with two different quarterbacks. But yeah. All right. Well, that's enough football talk, although it'll be a great weekend. Like I said, we're starting off with our all-star picks for this season coming up. Todd, do you want to start in the West or the East? Leave it up to you.
Let's start in the East. I think it's a little bit easier to figure out in the East. You know, there might be a couple differences of opinion, but I feel like there's a solid 10 dudes that definitely should be on your ballot in the East. So it'll probably be a little bit easier to move through that. And then we can go to the West where there's quite a few dudes that I think are eligible.
All right. Like you said, I think it's a pretty clear cut top 5 for the most part in the East. So I'll just go down my 5 and I'll see if you disagree on any of them. So scream if you disagree with anybody. I went Giannis. I mean, whatever way you shake it out, top 3, 4 player in the league. Maybe 2. Top 2 and it ain't 2. No, I'm just kidding. And then just phenomenal player. Obviously, you got to have Giannis. He's a star. Jaylen Brown in the MVP conversation. He is leading the Celtics to one of the top records in the East. It's been a great storyline so far. He's just been phenomenal for Boston in what was a year where kind of not a make or break, because he's gotten the contracts and he's won a finals MVP. But as far as like, it's definitely a prove it year for him as far as what his perception of himself versus what people kind of thought he was. I know in his head, he thought he could be the number 1 on a championship team, but I don't know if everybody else believed that. Now it's like, okay, this guy's doing it. He showed up this year. He's taken another step up. He was already in that fringe top 10 players, and with Tatum not playing this year, he's firmly kind of in that top 5 conversation right now. He's been just fantastic, 30 points a game, 30 plus points a game. Rebounding, his mid-range, he's doing it all for the Celtics. So he's been phenomenal. Gotta have him in there. Brunson, he's just, he's a bucket. He's in New York. He's a great player. He's kind of in that like next tier of players after your top 5. He's been really great this year, and the Knicks are playing well. About what we expected from them, but they're playing well. Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, obviously the number 1 guy on the number 1 team in the East. He's taken another step up this year. He's been awesome. I think you got to have Cade Cunningham. He probably should have been the first guy I mentioned, but whatever. These are all just your top 5 starters. And then as far as my 5th spot goes, I went Maxey. I think he's been really good this year. Philly is definitely performing a little bit better than I thought they would. It is now transitioned into his team. Wasn't sure how that was going to work with him and Embiid. I think Embiid, got to give him credit for, like, we've talked a lot of shit about Embiid on this podcast. You got to give him credit for kind of accepting that, yeah, I'm probably not the guy I'm probably not the guy anymore. It's kind of Maxey's show, and I'm here to rebound, score, and try not to get hurt. Maxey's been really, really good this year, and they play a much more exciting brand of basketball with him and VJ. And Philly's been better than I think we thought they were going to be. So that's my top 5. Do you disagree with any of those?
No, I had the same 5. Donovan Mitchell, kind of a tough. I mean, guys, it's not really his fault that Cleveland's just not been that as good as they should be this year. But I had those 5 as well as the starters. Obviously, like 3 guards, lead ball handling guards, but I mean, I don't know. The format's so weird at this point. I don't even entirely understand it. I think there's going to be there's going to be 3 different teams and they're going to play round robin, and I don't entirely understand it. I think there's 3 teams of 8. So again, don't entirely understand it. But as far as just the traditional format, those are the 5 that I had for the East. Something that we had mentioned a little bit off the pod was just the idea that, like, look, if it's not going to be East versus West anymore, let's just vote on the best 24 players, because I don't think that there's 12 dudes in the East that are more worthy than 12 dudes in the West. Now, the reason that they do or reason why they do that is because for 50 years or over 50 years, that was how they did it, was they chose East and West. And, you don't want to just kind of change that at this point. But I mean, we've already altered the All-Star game so much. I'd like to just see, you know, if anything, just players that we'd rather see more in an All-Star game at this point. So, I personally, down my ballot, and I guess since you brought up the starters, I'll just kind of go down my bench now. I mentioned Donovan Mitchell. Next, I have Norman Powell. He's the leading scorer for Miami. It's kind of between like him and Hero. I think he's been a bigger reason why they've been, where they're at this year. He was a borderline All-Star in the West last year, and I think he's deserving. I've got Scotty Barnes, obviously Toronto kind of taking a step up this year. Scotty Barnes not leading the team in scoring, but pretty much doing it all for them and only trailing Ingram by about 2 points a game. A little bit more efficient than Ingram. So I do, and that was something that people pointed at last year, was Scotty Barnes's dip in efficiency. It seems like that's kind of recovered a little bit more. And just a great defensive player. I believe he's averaging 2.4 stocks a game. If I That's not pulling up right now, but
That's all
I've
right.
got Jalen
Um,
Duran. Oh, go ahead.
Mhm. Oh, no, I was just gonna say I agree on those first 3 with you as well.
Okay, yeah, and then I have Jalen Duran. I think the Pistons, he's so important to what they're doing, their identity, that had to include him. I really wanted to get a second Piston on there. I think he's more than deserving. Um, I have Karl Anthony Towns. Kind of same thing with the Knicks, where look, they for the most part are all offense, no defense, and it's him and Brunson are a big part of both of those factors. But at the end of the day, the All-Star game and the guys that get named to the All-Star game are the guys that are the best offensive players in the league. I think he should be on the Eastern Conference team. In the West, I'm not sure if he makes it. Another factor is just there's not enough bigs, and Giannis is really the two, and Duran as the three traditional bigs in the East. So I had to have him. And then the last two, Jalen Johnson, I think that was an easy add for me. I wish that the Hawks had moved off Trey a little bit earlier so that the record could have been a little bit better. I think it would have been a much easier add, but he's been unreal this season, really taking the step up. And then for this last spot, again, I don't really feel that good about it, but I had Paolo Banchero. He is a star player, number one pick in the draft. Has technically not leading the Magic in points per game, but Franz is, not by much, but Franz is. He hasn't played as many games as Paolo. I've had some issues with Paolo with some of his efficiency and how he fits on that team, and if he's actually a real number one face of the franchise guy. But I think, in a weaker Eastern Conference, if I have to name 12, the Magic are firmly in the playoff race. They're only 3 games behind the Celtics, I think. So, with that said, yeah, I have him as my 12th guy.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of our more boring, uh, or sections, I'm gonna say, because I got the same exact guys. Uh, Obviously, you gotta have Mitchell in there. Jalen Johnson's been fantastic for Atlanta, on both sides of the court. I wanna do shout out Scotty Barnes because I kinda was one of those guys that was kinda out on him. I knew there was talent there was something there, but I just was not sure he was gonna put it together and Toronto was gonna actually be a competitive team with him kinda leading the way. So, uh, he's kinda taken that step up and the team has to where we can actually kinda have these conversations about Scotty Barnes. Because I kinda just thought I mean, I don't know. He was kind of turned into he was he was doing weird stuff. He was not being like that competitive of a player. The team was getting shit on, and I wasn't sure I was going to see it from Scotty Barnes. I didn't know how competitive and how much drive he had to actually kind of like get to this level. So it's good to see from him. You were right. The Pistons do deserve two guys, and Jalen Duren has played really well. So taking a big step up from him. He's also got to kind of be in that most improved player conversation. And that's a guy that I think actually should be in that conversation because it wasn't like he was a, you know, top overall pick. Do you know what position he got drafted or what point he got drafted? Can't remember here. Jalen Duren draft pick. He
I
was
believe Duren was a
13th.
later lottery pick. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
later lottery pick. But so
13th, which
important to what they're doing on the glass and defensively.
mhm,
And
tough.
again, kind of really rebuilding that Pistons identity of just tough. And along with Cade, kind of bringing them back to relevance. So I think that maybe some of the scoring numbers could be better, but in terms of, if Miami was up there at the number 1 seed and had that record, Bam would be on the ballot. So I don't see really what the difference is. A little bit of different players, but similar in terms of maybe the numbers that they put up. So I think he's more than well deserving.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, obviously he plays near the rim, but his efficiency is good at 63 and shooting 71% from the line. He's giving you 11 rebounds a game, which, nice for him. And then couple stocks a game as well too. So, uh and then yeah, he's, kind of one of the anchors defensively for that team. And that's really their identity. They're gonna beat you up. And he's freaking dude, he's jacked. Seen that guy's shoulders? He is a behemoth of a human. But yeah. Anyway, I'll stop glazing, as the kids say. And the Pistons deserve two. One of the best stories of the season. Uh Norm Powell. Gotta give it to him. Norm. I mean, coulda coulda, shoulda last year on the Clippers. I didn't know if he was going to be able to recreate that from last year. He has, and he's been phenomenal for a Miami team that is better than expected. Kind of cooled off after a little beginning there, but better than we expected. He's shooting the ball really well. Obviously they missed Hero, I believe, for a bit, and he kind of kept the offense going. He's been better than Duncan Robinson was for them, so they kinda have upgraded a little bit, like, the shooting, and he's able to play in that offense really well as far as Spo. Now Duncan Robinson is having his own kinda uptick with Detroit, which is funny, uh, but they're both having great seasons, so kinda evened out for him, I suppose. And then Cat, like you said as well too. Obviously, New York, one of the top teams in the East, probably deserved to have two guys, even though Boston's ahead of them. Uh, and Cat's kind of a star. He's at least, he's been in the league a long time. People know his name. He's still just kind of chugging along, having the same stats. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to have two guys from New York. You know what I mean? And that's the best thing I'll say about the Knicks on this podcast. Lot of lot of kind of interesting snubs though. Derek White, great chance to make it as well too. He's hasn't been as great on offense this year, but obviously what he does on the defensive side of the ball and uh kind of facilitating offensively, he's been really doing really well. And just, what he means to Boston and kind of the way they play. Um so Derek White, not sure if he's going to make it. Couple injuries though. I think he's right there. Uh, Michael Porter Jr. obviously having a great season for Brooklyn. The tough thing for me, and honestly, if Brooklyn wasn't so bad, he would be an absolute all-star. But the problem is that I'm not even sure they have 10 wins yet on the year? They just lost to the Pelicans on Wednesday, so that's a tough look. Uh, averaging 25.7 points a game. It's
My
tough
thing
to
my
leave.
thing with MPJ is just, like, nobody ever looked at him as an all-star player until he played on a team where he got to take a bunch of shots and be so it's like, yes, he's putting up all-star numbers, but,
And he's
like
doing it efficiently, though.
yes, and I would say, yeah, because it's such a weak, like, Eastern ballot, he was certainly on the fringes for me. I guess I could understand somebody putting him over Paolo because he is having a better year individually, and, when we're talking about the East, it's not like it's, there's not tons of real championship contenders, so maybe having somebody like Paolo or Norm Powell or, um you know, Scotty well, no, Scotty Barnes deserves it. I guess I could see maybe somebody putting him in over Norm Powell or Paolo. But honestly, like I feel like I would be quicker to reward Derek White or even a guy like Siakam, who's been an all-star before. I feel like multiple times. And the only reason that he's not this year is because Halliburton's hurt and the Pacers are genuinely just not trying to win. But he is still a top 20 scorer in the league. Um, Obviously, good defensive player. So those are three guys that I thought were on the fringe, but I'm not losing any sleep about them not making it.
Oh, I just
And
realized I didn't talk about Paolo, but I'm a big Paolo guy, as everybody knows.
yeah,
Look, the three-point shooting is bad this year. It hasn't looked great. He did start the year injured.
20%'s not any good.
Hey, look, Todd, I got a lot of 25% in college, and my teachers weren't happy. Okay? They didn't like that. Uh, no, it's not Todd. But look, he's a great player. This Orlando thing hasn't looked good for a while offensively. Is part of it on him? Of course. But I'm still a Paolo guy. I've watched that guy carry a team to a game 7 of a first round series when literally not one other person on the team could give him a fucking bucket, and he kept them in it. And so, you know what? I know it's a regular season. It's like 3/4 of a season award or appointment, however you want to say it. But I just want Paolo in there. And he's much more of a winning player than Michael Porter Jr. is, okay? All right? Because guess what? I bet you if he was just free to jack up some shots and not play hard defense, he'd probably be averaging 25 on a little bit better fucking percentage as well, too. Okay. Rant over. Um,
He
speaking
might be
of,
a Ewing theory candidate.
yeah, I mean, they
I
were
don't know.
playing
I
pretty
kind of
deep.
like them more when he's not playing and and they have Franz, Bane, and Black with Wagner. Like it's
Black's been good, dude.
Mo, not Franz, but Mo and Franz. It's such a funny. I mean, obviously they're from Germany, but it's like so. It's just a funny. I don't know. It's like Bert and Ernie.
This is Mo, and this is Franz. We play
Exactly.
for the
Yeah.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you want to see some
Exactly.
magic?
Right. But I don't know. I again, I like Paolo. He was a 5-star quarterback and was like
Yeah,
really.
of course I did. That's my guy, dude.
He was
It's
like
my
really
guy. I
good.
gotta
Dude, I almost wonder if he should have played college football and just tried to become a quarterback in the NFL. I mean, I know he's 6'8" or 6'9", but like imagine that. Imagine the arm he probably has. You think
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Allen is a beast? Like, that guy probably, I don't know. I feel like he may have chosen the wrong sport. He might just, I mean, he's one of those dudes where it's like Nate Robinson, where it's like, yeah, that guy could have played in the NFL and been maybe a fucking Hall of Fame corner. We'll never know. But,
Two Seattle guys.
yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It just looks like he's more athlete than basketball player sometimes. Obviously he loves basketball. That's why he chose it. There's also a shit ton more money in basketball, so that doesn't hurt either. But it just, I don't know. I don't know. Again, I need to see. He looks the same that he did as a rookie. Is kind of my point. I haven't seen the growth in not only the efficiency but also just the kind of shots that he takes. Like he's taken way too many like mid 2000s era shots where it's like, dude, that was really contested. That was a tough shot. You take a lot of those. Um, and I just feel like the league has kind of moved past that where it's just people are too smart, the spacing's too good. I don't know. There's just something weird. There's something off about the Magic. But whatever, rant over. Obviously, a lot of people really like him still. I'm just quick to be like, like I'm not, and I haven't been a huge fan for almost 2 years now. I'm like, something amiss. So we'll see.
Like I said, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, really the issue is the coaching staff and probably the organization as far as like developing talent, because it's like Franz hasn't necessarily developed the way we kind of thought he would as well. I mean, they're both kind of like better in theory than they actually are. But then you look at a guy like Anthony Black, who is tearing it up right now. Now he's also super young, so maybe he was just going to ascend no matter where he played. You know what I mean? But I guess we'll just wait and see if he gets any better with the Magic organization, because it does kind of seem at this point like they don't really develop talent the way some other organizations do, like the Boston Celtics. But yeah. Anyway, got him in there. Last couple guys, Bane, his teammate, shooting ball really well, playing good, but obviously you can't. I'm not going to put two Magic in. And Siakam is having a good year as well too. But you mean Indiana's just so bad that I can't do it. So I like to reward winning. Anybody else you want to mention in the East?
No, let's take it to the West, baby. West
All
Coast, West
right,
Coast.
going back to Cali.
If this was a West versus East matchup, the West would fucking destroy the East. If they were like actually trying, like obviously, in the All-Star game, you never know. But the West starting lineup, if we have the same lineup, is insane. It's literally the best players in the NBA, all of them. All of them. Like
Yeah.
everybody that should be on your MVP ballot except for Giannis.
Well, except for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
But
I
no,
mean, yeah.
it's tough. It's tough. Um, no. So what I wanted to ask you earlier was when, like, I think the 5 starters in the East would be, because, like you said earlier, maybe we should just do the top 24 guys in the NBA. Your 5 starters in the East would make the All-Star team, if it was top 24 guys. But how many of the reserves would make it in a top 24? I'm thinking literally just Donovan Mitchell and uh, Jalen Johns, Duran.
Yeah, I think if we were going to be cutthroat, it would literally just be Donovan Mitchell. But I think if you're being realistic, it would be Mitchell, Duran, Towns. See, Jalen Johnson's one of those where, yeah, he's got the numbers and he's making it in the East. But if it's a top 24 based on his team's record. Again, I think that has more to do with the Trey situation. I think that they would have had a better record had they just been like, look, this is Naw and Jalen Johnson and isn't that a funny nickname?
I love calling him Nah.
Naw, Jalen Johnson, and shit, the kid that they got from
Dyson
New
Daniels.
Orleans. Yes, exactly. It's their team. Roll with them.
The vacuum.
Right. Yeah. That's a good nickname and a good porn star name. Now as far as honestly, you're right though. I would think Donovan Mitchell is like the for sure, and I think Towns, because Towns, again, um, in the West, like
Star
you need
status.
bigs. You need bigs, and if you're going 24, you need at least 6 bigs, and I think he's one of the 6 best in the league. Um, so yeah, I think he would be in it. And Duran, it's like hard to cut him because his team is winning and he's so important to what they do. But in terms of like an all-star game, I mean, I don't know. Are we putting in somebody like Sengun or Denny Advia or Jalen Duran? I don't know. So yeah, it's an interesting argument. I mean, some of the guys that I had first out for the West, I have Cooper Flag question mark. Now it's probably a little early for that, but if he was in the East, he's in for me. He's in, like I have him over Paolo. I have him over Norm Powell. Lauri Markkinen, Randall, De'Aaron Fox, Stephen Castle. These are all dudes that in the East, I'm like, yeah, they're in. And LeBron, I don't know what they do with LeBron. It's in LA. This might be his last year in the NBA. I feel like he's
He's
for
gonna
sure
be an
going to
all-star.
make it. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
he's for sure going to make it. I'm not gonna, if I had a ballot, let's say this is my ballot, I'm not voting for him because it's been his worst. He hasn't been an all-star and he's only played in like 20 games, so.
Guy had sciatica.
Well, that's why you don't play basketball when you're in your early 40s against kids in their 20s.
All right, man. Whatever. Sounds like you're an ageist hater. Okay. It's a go.
Oh, I am a fucking Braun hater. LeBag.
Le flap.
He's gonna,
Le
if he
fleur.
doesn't make the All-Star game, he's just gonna act like I didn't even want to. Like I really would rather spend time with my family. So I'm glad that I didn't. And then he'll go and he'll be passive aggressively be on social media making posts like he did all summer.
Yeah, I got invited to the island. I didn't even want to go. Oh, Jeffrey. Okay, let's go over our 5 starters in the West. I have Jokic, best player in the world. Don't care that he's gonna miss. He probably will miss the game. Maybe, I'm not even sure. I'm assuming he's not gonna play, but he needs the All-Star tag. Luka, look, man, he's a Laker and he's putting up stats. And the Lakers are right in the playoff contention. And don't get me wrong, he has been good. I mean, he was battling through injuries and dropped 40 the other night. He's unbelievable. Luka's still Luka, no matter what you think about the Lakers and the entire situation. Shea, debatably the best player in the world. OKC number 1 seed. He's clockwork, man. He's just money every single game. Him and Jokic are the 2 guys that it's like, if they have a bad game, it's shocking. It really is. Like, Luka has an off shooting night. Yeah, he's not making that much of an impact on the game. Shea and Jokic are, even if they have an off shooting night, they're still dropping 20 plus and like still getting the rebounds, still getting their assists, still playing well on the defensive side of the ball. Wemby, excited for him to kinda once again be kinda introduced to the maybe more casual fan, although a lot of casual fans know who he is by now, but this will help even more so as he turns into kind of the next guy, I would say. Uh, he's been phenomenal this year, much healthier, which has been nice. They've been the only team to really give OKC a lot of issues, except for a random night against the Hornets last month. Uh, but yeah, Wemby's been phenomenal, and he's fully here and ready. Excited for the playoffs with him. And then my fifth spot, some people had Curry, but I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards. He's just been killing it, man, on both sides of the ball. Really, really good offensively. And the Wolves, despite some really head scratching dumb losses, have had some phenomenal wins as well too. They have a win over OKC. They have a win over the Spurs. I mean, they're right in there, man. And like, I don't think it's going to shock anybody if they go to a third straight Western Conference Finals. It could be a little bit surprising depending on how things look at the end of the year, but they're going to be right there. And going to be a tough, tough series for anybody they play. If not, fuck it, man. They could get out of the West. It wouldn't be the most surprising thing ever. Uh, but Ant's been really good regardless. So yeah, that's my top five. Do you disagree with any of those, Todred?
No, I'm basically at the same five: Jokic, Wemby, SGA, Luca, and Ant. And then presuming that Jokic misses the game, Steph, and then presuming that Wemby, who could miss the game, and he's only started 8 games this year. Like the Spurs could be like, hey, let's you got a hammy or you got a something and you're not, he doesn't play, he just shows up. Or maybe he plays. I don't know. We'll see. But
That would be classic Spurs.
right. So but yeah, presuming everybody plays, Nicola, Wemby, Shea, Luca, and Ant. And then if one of those guys is out, I replace him with Steph, and then the next guy getting replaced would be with Sengun, because one of them would probably be a big. So I still like the lineups to look something like a real basketball lineup. It's just how it's always been, at least like for me growing up. But some people are like, "Fuck it," like, dude, Anthony Edwards, Luca, SGA, Durant, and Booker. Why not?
Yeah. No, I agree. Probably a couple of these guys are going to be out. At least one. You never know. Then you got Murray, of course. Is this going to be his first All-Star selection?
I think so, actually. Which,
Yeah.
if you go back and look at it, he's never been like it's not egregious that he's never made it.
No,
Um,
it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, Russell Wilson has never received a MVP vote. It's like, well, yeah, if you go year by year, it sounds weird at first, but if you go year by year, it makes sense why he didn't.
which, by the way, in hindsight, maybe he shouldn't have been receiving MVP votes, because as soon as they
No.
started to let Russ cook, woo!
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the let Russ cook worked for about half a season, and then he hurt his hand, and then he got caught. Not caught, but he was doing the walkthrough by himself, reenacting a 2-minute drill. Got flamed for that, rightfully so, and then came back too early, sucked. Season was over, and then was never quite the same
Hey,
afterwards. And
Seattle,
then, and I don't
we
need to
got it.
go on
We
a
got a deal. No, it's like Jamal Murray. Jokic comes back. Jamal Murray's like, "Hey, let me cook. Why's the ball in this guy's hands?"
Yeah,
Denver's
he
like, "Dude, we will fucking trade you so fast if you wanna
yeah,
have
dude.
any issues with Jokic."
You don't think we can get another
Um,
Jamal Murray? It's like, dude, you've been
no,
healthy
he
for
would
one
never dude, the
playoff
guys on
run.
that team fucking look at Jokic like he's a god, which they should, 'cause he literally is, he's a freak, but, um I was listening to Con Knipple on Simmons, and he was talking about playing Jokic, just like, yeah, playing him was weird because like it doesn't even seem like he's trying. And then at the end of the game, he has like 25, 12, and 11. You're like, that guy barely sweat. It's insane how in control of the game he is the whole time. So anyway, yeah, Jamal Murray, very deserving.
Yeah, no, so it'll be good to finally see him in there. He deserves it. Next, I you gotta have KD. He's been good this year, and obviously has taken Houston to a little bit of a step up. Obviously, things aren't going quite as good as I think they thought they would be after maybe that first week or two of the season. I think they're now down to the play-in, which is a little bit disappointing, but that West is so combobbled in the middle that they could be the number 2 or 3 seed in a couple of weeks if they just go on a hot stretch. Um, and then, yeah, Curry after him, just another one of those like how many more chances these guys got to make all-star teams? He's gonna make it much more interesting, obviously, with the half court shots that he makes it an unreal clip. Um, and look, he's guy's still playing well. Guy's still playing really well. Just the rest of the team is unhappy, and we'll get to that later, maybe. And then we gotta start powering through this a little bit quicker. Shingun, you know I'm a Shinguner. I'm always in on him. So uh, part of the reason why Houston's been so successful this year. I think you got to have Chet in there as well too, guys. I think you do. I think you do. You got to have two OKC dudes. Um, and he's been playing really well this year, and he's great on the defensive side of the ball. And yeah, you got to have two Thunder, and then with my 11th guy, unfortunately, it's got to be LeBron because he's an all-star. If he's still in the league, he's an all-star unless things really fall off next year or something like that. And it might be his last one, like you said. So you probably got to have LeBron in. Do I want him in? I'm okay without him, but it will make things more interesting if he does something really cool, which he still has the opportunity to do because guy has the body of a 26-year-old still, which is unbelievable. And my last spot, I believe this is my last spot. This would make it 12. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Denny. I'm gonna give it to the Portland guy. Portland hasn't had an All-Star since Dame. Uh, they are 7-2 and trending in the right direction. I think that if you look at the numbers when Denny is on the court offensively versus off the court, I mean, it's like they're an average offense to like when he's off, it's the worst offense in the league. So I just think he makes a big difference for that team. I also think, you know, just what he's done in Portland has been really good so far this year. And I watched probably too much Portland. The other options were Kawhi. I mean, who's playing the best basketball right now? He's obviously playing better than almost all these guys, but it turned on too late, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's fine. I know it's in the Clippers are at home. It's fine. Kawhi will be there anyway. Or maybe not. Maybe he'll just go home. I don't think he cares to be there. So why should I? Okay? And Booker is another tough snub as well too because he's been really good. He's been really good. Um, but I think that's more of a cohesive unit down there in Phoenix. And then Reeves has missed too many games. So yeah, I know you're probably going to disagree with my last guy. So let's hear it.
Yeah, so I had everybody that you had except I have Booker in and I have Kawhi in. I have LeBron out. I mean, LeBron's played 12 less games than Kawhi, and his numbers aren't as good as Kawhi's. I get why. He'll probably be in. I mean, shit, I haven't looked at the fan voting. I would assume that he's gotta be one of the top, like, he might be a starter. So, I don't know. He's not on my ballot, 'cause I have fucking integrity, but but, and by the way, I don't know, body of a 26-year-old, that hairline and those dick pills say otherwise, but anyway. Um, and
I
then,
haven't heard
yeah,
about the
so
dick pills. What's this about?
no, that was just me just taking a
Oh.
big ol' swing. I have no idea. I mean, he's in his 40s. He's in his 40s. Yeah, he's healthy, but, you
I
know,
think he's got good circulation.
we'll have to get the inside scoop, from his wife or somebody in the
Ask
locker room, but
Beyonce.
yeah. Or Serena Williams or any of those other women that he's been rumored. But yeah, no, I've got Kawhi and I've got Book. I didn't even have Chet on my question marks list at the bottom. Like I had Randall question mark, Laurie Markkinen question mark, Cooper Flag question mark, De'Aaron Fox, Stephen Castle question mark. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think 2 through 12 on Oklahoma City, yeah, they've had a great year, but I don't think it's by nature of Jalen Williams or Chet. I feel like it's SGA, obviously, but then they're just so deep that like none of those, like their other two best players, quote unquote, I feel like can be. If they don't play, I don't think they're really missing that much of a beat. So I didn't even have him. I didn't even consider him. So I'm shocked that you had him on there. I guess
Wow.
if I was gonna go even deeper, and I know it's a little bit like, well, how can you have Kawhi? You preach like, oh, winning, 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 and Oklahoma City's, for one, it's my ballot, so fuck off. I don't like Oklahoma City, so maybe that's why. Two, Kawhi, they are playing it at into a dome. No, I won't. Again, he might also. You could look at it and say, well, he's part of the reason that they've had a bummer of a season. I mean, that whole offseason scandal. Uh, but I don't know. I just fucking love Kawhi Leonard, man, and this is like the best season he's had in basically since before the pandemic. So I'm gonna give it to him. I don't know how many more of these we're gonna get from him. I doubt he gets in because a lot of people just kind of like you. They're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't really give a fuck about him. He's kind of an asshole. Also, like, yeah, just is the worst liar ever when it comes to the media asking him about this scandal. He's like, I don't know. It's like, dude, come on. But I
Look,
don't know. Like I
man,
said, I
I've
really
just
like him. I think he's top 40 player of all time. And yeah,
so I guess I'm a little bit biased. So I put a lot of my money in aspiration stock. Um, and look, the guy's cost me a lot of money. Okay. There's no way around it. And I'm fucking pissed. Okay.
hey, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. That
Yeah.
stock was supposed to go to the moon, and they conned them. They conned them, as Steve Ballmer liked to say on ESPN. Hey, they conned me. You're one of the richest men in America.
And I'm a big, big Balmer guy. Big Balmer guy. Um, Look, I mean, back to Chet. They didn't have Jalen Williams for the first part of the season, and they didn't miss a beat. In fact, they were better um, before Jalen Williams got back. Now, obviously, it's kind of like a reintegration thing, but um, part of that reason is because Chet is just kind of an anchor on that defense, and
How much
he's
better
played
is he
really
because
well.
of Hartenstein? Is he the anchor, or is it Hartenstein, and is it fucking the perimeter guys that they have? Like, I know he cleans up at the
Mhm.
rim with some of the weak side blocks that he gets, but I don't know. I just think he's more a product of what they have going on. I mean, when you look at who was it, the guy that really blew up early in the season that everybody was like, "Where the hell did this guy come from?" Shit.
Oh, damn it. I
Uh,
don't know.
can't think of his name now. Um, this is not very good podcasting. AJ Mitchell. Yeah, like AJ
Right.
Mitchell. Um, and then again, like I would have to look at some of their defensive numbers since Hartenstein has been out, but to me it looked like Hartenstein, that was a big reason why they started playing kind of 500 basketball. He to me is just as big of an anchor of that defense and more so Chet kind of helping on the weak side. So yeah, he gets the blocks and he gets the rebounds because Hartenstein's blocking out and actually putting like playing defense. But again, Chet, it's not a terrible choice. I could definitely see him making it. I guess we'll see. This is part of my thing about the West just being so much more loaded. There's so many more guys that are deserving that are going to end up getting left off the ballot for. I mean, I love Norm Powell and the season he's putting up. I don't think he should be an All-Star. I just don't.
Well, yeah, if I did it fully on merit, I would take LeBron off and I'd put Booker on there. What?
So you
Oh.
admit no, I'm just saying, like, you
Oh
do
yeah,
kind of
no.
admit that, like,
Like,
you're more projecting than you are actually if it was your ballot, how you would do it.
right,
I was kinda
right.
kidding about the integrity thing, but thanks for admitting it.
Well, as our listeners know, Todd, I have no integrity. And if aspiration gave me money, I probably wouldn't do anything either. So I'm a spineless little man who has Chet Holmgren as an all-star. So, all right. We spent 51 minutes going over our all-stars. That's okay. That's just what this episode is going to be about. So I hope you like it. Um, let's do anything else you want to say about that? Actually, no, we're just going to move on. Uh, let's do a little bit about Kuminga. Huh? So, first day he was eligible, he officially is asked for a trade. So the cum bucket is officially on the move. Uh, he earned the starting job, according to Steve Kerr. Sucked and lost his playing time, and now he's faking injury so he doesn't have to go back in. And for a Warriors team that could really use a big athletic wing, it is concerning. But you got to think that he's got some value for another team out there. So, Todd, what are your kind of thoughts on Kuminga and how this Warriors situation has gone, and who do you think gets in the running?
Well, I think he's for sure getting moved just based on some of the things that Steph has said lately. It seems like sure Kerr has wanted him gone for a while, but now that Steph is like basically publicly, when they ask him about is this a distraction, he's like, no, it's not a distraction. I mean, he's talking to the reporter like you've been around the last few years, you know, it's not much. He just seems so aggravated about it. And he's just like, dude, get this kid the fuck out of here. Like it's not working. It doesn't fit our culture. Um, It'll be interesting to see what they do if they want to just move him to. I mean, the Kings are still there, but they've taken the first rounder off the table, and they're like, "Look, Malik Monk." The Warriors don't want to take on salary really past. I believe they have one player on the books past next season, so they want a clean set of books for after next season to just kind of reevaluate where they're going to be at with this next era and how they should build around Steph. With that said, I mean, Anthony Davis's contract coming up, they could, if Dallas is interested, I mean, that's probably the best Dallas is going to do, and that might be the best that Golden State's going to do. It's weird in this new era where you have these star players or these assets that once were highly valued. It's again getting back to this Zion LaMelo, Trae Young. These guys where teams are just like, "Meh, I'm good." Unless you wanna we'll give you a bag of basketballs. That's about it. So I think Dallas would be the most interesting, especially because they, with their pick this year, it seems like they want to tank. But who knows? Dallas might think that they can get more for AD than Jonathan Kuminga in the off season or during the summer. Um, I don't know. Both of those teams are in such a weird position with their cap as well as their future draft positioning and everything, and doesn't seem like they have a chance of winning a title. So I don't know. I think that the Warriors definitely should make a move this year or before the deadline, though, with Kuminga if they're going to maximize what they're going to get back. They might have no leverage, though.
That's what I was just gonna say is they're not gonna get the return they think they should for him because he's asked out and he's gotta get moved, and it's not a fun situation, certainly this year. Um, I think he can blossom somewhere. I really do. I think he could, um, improve his career and kind of flip it around. It does seem weird to say that because, like, what's a better organization than the Warriors, really, to, develop and, like, there was a position there for you to take it, and obviously Kerr did not believe in his defense, and his really kinda his effort level while he was out there and attitude, because he was given like, Kerr at the beginning of the year said he earned his starting spot, and he lost that. So it does give me major concerns about his attitude issues, and if I was another team in negotiations for trades, I'm bringing that up. I'm like, "Look, from what I've seen, this guy doesn't look like he can necessarily buy in, and you guys don't trust him, and you need what he is. So why am I giving up real good assets for him?" Um, really though, I would be contacting Brooklyn and seeing if there's something you can do for a Michael Porter Jr. package.
I
What are you gonna say?
I think according to some of the reporting, Brooklyn's just like we're out, especially because they just
Yeah,
drafted a bunch of guys. I think it just depends on the direction the Warriors want to go. I know that they don't necessarily want to take on salary and they want to reevaluate where they're at the end of next year. But it's like, hey, what if you just threw in some unprotected picks, you move him and you match some salary, you go get Lauri Markkanen, and you say, "Hey,
yeah,
Lauri and Steph, that's our
yeah.
2 guys moving forward." You move off Draymond, you move off Jimmy, or you bring them back at cheaper money because I don't think they're gonna get
Mhm.
the money that they think they're gonna get elsewhere. So, I mean, and that's interesting. I mean, Lauri, I wanna see Lauri
Oh,
just
with
somewhere. I
somebody
mean, dude,
else,
the
somebody
pick
else.
the pick and rolls with or not even rolls, the pick and pops that he could do with Steph, with some of the stuff that Draymond can do, facilitating the offense with Lauri, he would help stretch the floor. I mean, Splash Brothers 2.0? No, I'm just kidding. He's not as good of a shooter as
Yeah.
Clay, but he is a very good
No,
shooter
obviously,
and
but
yeah, I don't know. But then again, that would require the Warriors understanding that they would have to move some unprotected picks, and I think with Steph's age, they start getting worried about like, look, what if there's a year where we don't have him and we need to like just full tank and I don't know. I mean, it's a weird situation. It's like one of those situations where they clearly value the asset more than everybody else because they've invested so much in it and they've put that time and they had that draft pick in the lottery that it just didn't work. It didn't hit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that they should try and move sooner rather than later, because I think by the time the offseason hits, it's gonna just continue to. It'll be even worse. It'll be like Trey. So I think they should use him almost as like just a young, talented player that they can package other stuff with, like unprotected draft picks, to go big game hunting. If I'm them, but you're muted. You're muted, or at least it
yep,
says so
thank
for
you.
me.
Yep, got that. All right. I said, if you didn't read my lips, shout out to everybody that has watched on YouTube so far. I know it's just a much better experience getting to look at our faces. No, what I was going to say is Curry obviously doesn't want to leave and he wants to be a warrior for life. So I think you got to do whatever it takes to try and match him with somebody that's going to at least keep him a winner throughout, the twilight of his career and into retirement. I think Laurie's a great option for that. Obviously, Jimmy, it's just we're past our prime there. So Laurie's not a bad option. Michael Porter Jr. You're right. Why would Brooklyn want to get in on that business? Although I will say, if you can get an unprotected Warriors pick for like 4 years from now, could end up being a hell of a pick. I mean, when the fall off does happen from Steph, it's probably going to happen pretty quick, and it could go to really bad really quick. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind like
MPJ is
having one
like
of
the
those.
baby version of the Markkanen trade. So you're right. Maybe if they're willing to throw in unprotecteds, um, I know initially what they were looking for was basically them moving Kuminga for capital back from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's like, we're not giving you picks for him. Like, you would be giving us and picks for our guy that we know that you kind of want. Yeah, man, interesting time. The trade deadline is going to be weird. A lot of rumors floating around, and this AD situation is throwing a monkey wrench in it because I think for sure he would have gotten moved, and now with the injury, it's like I think teams are like, fuck that. Let's just wait and see and get him in the off season. So
Well, we're both kind of on the same page as far as AD, as far as like I think most competent teams that aren't desperate are not even going to touch that situation. Um, that's why you've seen him, lasting on the Lakers, and I don't know, Nico just loved him, and the only teams you can really see poking around at it are desperate. Well,
I can't even hear that guy's fucking name without
it's bad, dude. It's
like
bad.
physically like I feel so bad for Dallas fans.
Oh
That
well,
is
you
so
gotta
fucked up.
let's not forget that those are also Cowboy fans. So let's not feel too bad.
Yeah, they're annoying, but that almost makes me feel worse for them. I'm like, damn, like Jerry Jones and Nico, that's fucked.
Yeah, something about that city makes you think you're better than you are. Hmm. But anyway, like I was saying though, is you only see like desperate teams kind of getting linked to being interested in him because that's what it is. It's high risk, but also high reward. You got to give him like his credit when he is healthy, which is for a awesome 10 games a year. He's really good. Um, I think he gets traded. It was reported that he needed surgery on that hand. Um, and now he's come out and said I don't need surgery. So I think I just think there's going to be a desperate team that overpays a little bit for him, whether it be Milwaukee potentially with some sort of Miles Turner, Portis, any picks they have. Um, if you're Dallas, is Miles Turner interesting to you? I don't know. And then two of the ones I've heard that actually are interested um, are Toronto and Atlanta. Not necessarily the most desperate teams, I actually would say. Um, but I think Atlanta can kind of take a swing. But the thing for them is like, I'm not moving that fucking Pelicans pick. I'm not. I'm not. Dude, that pick might be AJ DeBonsa. It might be Cam Boozer. It might be Darren Peterson. I'm not moving the pick, especially for Anthony Davis. I'm not moving it.
Toronto's interesting because they struggle to get free agents. And if you can come to it, if it's like an Ingram situation, which by the way, that's worked out a little bit better than people thought. At first, they're like, what are you doing? That worked out. and that contract doesn't look too bad now. I mean, he's kind of a fringe. I wouldn't have him as an all-star, but he's a little bit fringe if you want to start getting into that next 5 or 6 dudes. Anthony Davis there, if you can somehow come to an agreement or work his agent where it's like, look, we'll trade for you. You opt out. We give you 3 years, 90 million. Does that sound good? Because I don't think he's going to have the market that he thinks he's going to have. Unless the Mavericks are insane and they just say, look, we have to double down on this, which there's reports that they might. They might tank this year and then let AD and Kyrie just get healthy, get another top pick, and then say, look, we're going to go for this one more time with AD and Kyrie, Cooper Flag, fucking, PJ Washington, the centers they have, the whole thing with this draft pick that they're going to get, and go for it. I don't hate it. I liked Dallas coming into the season, expecting them to maybe be a little healthy, but they haven't been. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's a shit show there. So it's kind of vibing on like the Suns thing where it's like, look, you gotta just try. You gotta try with what you got, and you can't, I don't know. They have their pick this year, so they got to be bad, and maybe it works out that they all got hurt, and maybe next year it works out where they're all healthy, and because they don't have their picks for the next several years, so they really need to not fuck this up. And if they do trade AD, it's got to be for something worth getting.
Yeah, that's the only thing for me is it's a new GM, obviously. We didn't even really talk about the Nico firing, or did we? I'm not sure. It's a new GM that obviously isn't linked to him, or infatuated, I would say. And you got to be bad this year. You got to be bad and go get another like high draft pick. And the worst thing ever would be now. I don't know if you ever have to worry about AD forcing himself to play. We haven't seen that too much in his career. But the worst thing ever would be he's fully healthy to go. They got 40 games left, 30 games left, and he goes in there and plays for 15 games, and they end up winning 8 of them, and now their odds are way low, and they don't get lucky like they did with Cooper Flag again. That's my thing. So you never know. So the new GM might just be like, I got to get this guy out of the building. He's also like, it's a reminder of the worst trade in
The
NBA
bad
history.
thing.
And I don't want him in here. Get him out. Get. Oh my God.
I'm
I'd be
still that
so
is one of
mad.
the most shocking sports moments I've ever I mean, I've been following sports for, over 20 years pretty closely, going back to being like a 10-year-old. That is one of the most
Mhm.
shocking on or off the court things I've ever seen. Just
Truly where
God,
were
that
you?
how did
I remember
Yeah,
exactly where I was.
yes. I
I was a
remember
crystal
getting
ball.
phone calls from like multiple people and I was in the middle of doing something and just ignoring them. Dude, I would equate it to Kobe Bryant dying. Like, literally, like, where were you? Like, people are calling me, and I'm just like, what? Like, I'm busy doing something, and then people are like, dude, Kobe died. I'm like, wait, what? Like, that type of
That was a
level
weird
of like,
morning.
oh my God. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, not wrong. It was, yeah. It didn't think it was
It's a
real.
shame that
Literally,
Anthony Davis has to be associated with that.
yeah. I mean, hey, he's a champion. Okay. Um, Only other things I had were, yeah, Toronto could do Brandon Ingram and Pirtle. Might have to do a pick. And then potentially a quickly Pirtle or Barrett, or quickly Pirtle and Barrett trio, which kind of that wouldn't be bad because that kind of like gets a couple of the cooks out of the kitchen as far as like, okay, Brandon Ingram is, can be more ball dominant and he's working with AD and yeah.
I don't love that quickly
Pirtle's got
contract.
kind of
So if
a
they can somehow
what?
find a way to flip that in, I don't love that quickly contract. So if they can somehow find a
Yeah.
way to flip that into Anthony Davis, I don't hate it for Toronto because again, they're not getting guys like that. you
Mhm.
draft them or they're not going there. So
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It's a little bit like the Kawhi thing where it's like, hey, but it's different than Kawhi because Kawhi had options. AD is kind of like Ingram where it's like, look, we'll pay you. We'll pay you to
Yeah.
stay here in the six.
In this scared of the 6.
Get six,
Um,
six, six, six.
6 God. Da-da-da-da. No, yeah, that was it's not a bad option, and
Shout
obviously,
out
if you're
Gabe
Anthony.
Gutierrez.
Yeah, shout out the boy. Uh, but you're right. If you're Anthony Davis and you have your knees and rest of your body, I'd probably wanna go to a place that's like, "Yeah, we'll give you an extension, pay you what you want." So that's not a bad option. Although it's cold up there, it's not good for that's good for bad joints. So, could be tough.
Yeah.
Then the other one would be Atlanta. Uh, Somebody threw out Porzingis, Ricochet, and a pick. Absolutely not. I don't think they would touch Ricochet quite yet because I don't think they want to admit defeat on that pick. And it's not like he's terrible. Um, he probably needs to just develop more. Uh, but the nice thing is you have this Porzingis piece that is like, look, man, he's probably not gonna. You're not gonna get 2024 Boston again. You're really not. You're not, or 2020,
Yeah.
2023. Yeah, 2024.
No,
Yeah,
2024. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, and like I said, I'm not moving the Pels pick at all. So that was kind of about it. If you could do something around Porzingis, a pick that's not the Pelicans, uh, and another player or two, I would
Like
I would
Milwaukee's
heavily
pick
consider that
this
if I
year.
was.
Porzingis,
Yeah,
Milwaukee's pick,
yeah.
and then yeah, something else. I don't know. Again, it's the problem is you have to be willing to extend him. And if I'm Atlanta, I'm nervous about extending him because I have other pieces that I'm looking to, like Jalen Johnson, you're gonna need to, pay and Dyson Daniel, like they have some younger guys that they're gonna need to extend. And I think Davis, I just don't think they need to be that desperate. Especially with potentially getting another star player with some of these draft picks versus like Toronto. Yeah, I think it just makes more sense for Toronto, but I mean, who knows? Atlanta's done weird shit like trade the Luca pick for Trey Young. So not that that guy's there anymore, but
And he can be kind of the next Chris Bosh in Toronto. You know, some guys like it up there. Ask Vince. Okay, we'll see if he gets moved. It should be a little bit of an interesting trade deadline. I'm kind of excited for it. It's obviously one of the kind of things to pick you up as you're kind of in the
football one.
dog days of the
Yeah.
NBA season right now. But okay, other than that, the only thing we were going to talk about was San Antonio, OKC. OKC finally gets one on San Antonio. And then I don't want to talk about this just because we're already at 1 hour 15 minutes. But Shea being like, this wasn't our Super Bowl, acting like San Antonio acted like they won the Super Bowl. I know San Antonio was excited and they beat them 3 times, but I think saying this wasn't our Super Bowl after a win with the way they do their press conferences kind of makes me feel like you guys kind of felt like you won your Super Bowl in the regular season. I didn't love that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it just is. I would have just kept it moving. Been like, no, I mean, it was obviously like, or just be kind of honest. Be like, yeah, they've this, they're one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Yeah, it meant a little. It's like playing Houston or Denver or any of the Lakers or any of these other teams. They have great players, but to act like, nah, didn't even think twice about the fact that the team that beat you 3 times, you only have 7 losses this year. Yeah, you're a fucking liar. And yeah, I just don't. I hate the Thunder. I can't wait for them to lose in the playoffs. They're not going back to back.
Not if Jason Tatum has anything to say about it. No, more like if Jokic has anything to say about it. Yeah,
Exactly.
because that team still looks pretty good without Jokic. So
They're getting
we should
such good reps for their young guys. They're gonna be
you need
way
this.
deeper in the playoffs this year than they were last year. They had, like, 4.5 dudes last year. They
Yeah,
didn't have
and
a
they took him to
full
7.
fucking lineup.
Yeah, and they took him to 7. Just got to make
Yes.
sure Aaron Gordon and Jokic are in there healthy. And yeah, you got to you got to really hope that these reps that Peyton Watson and other guys are getting, uh, translate into them being better role players. But we'll talk a little bit more Denver. Uh, I'm sure sometime soon here. But that'll do it for us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure if you haven't yet to uh, like and subscribe, smash that like button on YouTube and follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I don't know if we can say wherever you get your podcast from, but most of the places. But yeah, do that and share it if you can. Thumbs up, comment on YouTube would be awesome. I'm pretty sure that's
Even if
how.
you think it sucks.
If you especially if you think it sucks, we want to hear from you. If you think it
Yeah.
sucks, shit on us. No OBJ, but we will see you guys next week. Todd, good job by you.
Yeah. Good job by you, bud. Love you guys.